in this question we are told that integral part of x is the greatest integer which is less than or equal to x, and we are given fractional part of x, and we are given modulus of x, which is the absolute value of x. One of the things that you should understand is that for a number which is negative, the fractional part of x will still be positive. It will be positive even for a number which is greater than or equal to 0. Just to make things clearer, let us assume that x is equal to 1.6. Then what is the greatest integer which is less than or equal to x? That will be equal to 1, and the fractional part of x will be equal to 0.6. This is simple and very straightforward. But what will happen if x is equal to minus 1.6? Then the greatest integer which is less than or equal to x will be minus 2. Because minus 1 is actually greater than minus 1.6. So the integral part of x will be equal to minus 2, and the fractional part of x will be 0.4. Fractional part of x for any number is always greater than or equal to 0. Once we have understood this, let us try to answer this question. We are told that x will lie between minus 100 to plus 100, and we want integer part of x plus 2 times fractional part of x is equal to modulus of x. If x is greater than or equal to 0, the value of modulus of x will be equal to x. So in that particular case, what does the given equation look like? It becomes greatest integer less than or equal to x plus fractional part of x plus fractional part of x is equal to x. But the value of the greatest integer which is less than or equal to x plus the fractional part of x is always equal to x. Or we want the fractional part of x to be equal to 0. This would be true for all the integers. So we want x to be either 0 or 1 or 2 or dot 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 till 100. There are not one such values. In the first case where x is greater than or equal to 0. Now let us consider the second case where x lies between minus 100 to minus 1. That is, x is less than 0. In this particular case, the value of absolute value of x will be minus x. So the given equation becomes equal to integer part of x plus 2 times fractional part of x is equal to minus of x, which is minus of integer part of x minus of fractional part of x. Or if you are simplifying this, 3 times fractional part of x will be equal to minus 2 times integer part of x. There is nothing to be confused about this. The left hand side is positive, so the right hand side also will be positive. We have a minus sign over here, and the greatest integer which is less than or equal to x will be negative. So negative into minus will be positive. Or the value of fractional part of x will be equal to minus 2 by 3 into the integer part of x. Let us consider different values of integer part of x. In the first case, if integer part of x is equal to 0. This would happen only if x is greater than 0, but again if you are simplifying this over here, you want fractional part of x to be equal to minus 2 by 3 into 0, which is equal to 0, or the value of x is 0. We have already considered that case, so we won't consider that case again. Next we will consider the value of integer part of x to be minus 1. In that particular case, the value of fractional part of x will be minus 2 by 3 into minus 1, which is equal to 2 by 3. Or the value of x, which is equal to greatest integer which is less than or equal to x plus fractional part of x will be minus 1 by 3. This also is a valid solution. If you are considering the integer part of x to be minus 2, then the value of fractional part of x will be equal to minus 2 by 3 into minus 2, which is equal to 4 by 3. But this is greater than 1. You want the fractional part of any number to be lying between 0 and 1. It should be greater than or equal to 0 and strictly less than 1. So this is not allowed. Similarly, if the integer part of x becomes minus 3 or minus 4 or any number till say minus 100, then the fractional part of x from this particular equation will become definitely greater and greater. It will be greater than 1. So that is not allowed. So the only negative number which is allowed is minus 1 by 3. And we have 101 whole numbers starting from 0 to 100. All of them satisfy this given equation. So the total number of values of x for which the given equation is satisfied is 101 plus 1, which is equal to 102.